All right, here we are today with a couple of yacht club directors, junior sailing directors, and coaches just wanting to learn more about their programs. We have Bobby Lippincott with Annapolis Yacht Club and Gabriel Sequeira from California Yacht Club. So, Bobby, would you just kind of introduce yourself, a little bit more about where you're from, the yacht club, and how long you've been there?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Elena. Um, my name is Bobby Lippincott. I am the junior sailing director here at Annapolis Yacht Club. We have one of the largest junior sailing programs in the country. We have summer program based stuff, but we also have race teams, both for Optimists and 420. 420 is one of our largest race team programs. We have three different groups. Um, Mainly in the summertime is our bread and butter. But we also have our C420 race teams also participate in a winter program, which is a satellite program that operates in Florida, but is still organized and run out of the Chesapeake Bay, Mid-Atlantic region.
All right, Gabriel, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how long you've been at Cal Yacht Club?
Yeah, so my name is Gabriel. I'm originally from Brazil. I grew up sailing there. I moved to Los Angeles about 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. So I've been working here since then. I moved for the job. So started off as a 420 coach, and then now I run the program. We have opties, like for race teams, we have basically opties and 420s, and the 420 group we sail both I-420s and C-420s. So we attend events on both boats, and we have year-round sailing. So we're in California, so we don't have issues with weather. And yep.
Awesome. So we'll kick right off with some questions. Um, what are the benefits of a yacht club team versus something like a travel team?
The yacht club team, I think it comes down to sense of community. Okay, you basically have you learn how to sail, whether that's in a community sailing club or a yacht club, and you basically kind of form a team, and you kind of grow through the programming over a period of years from probably age 5, like ours, all the way up through 18, even 19 and 20, and it kind of evolves. So it's more of a, you grow up with a bunch of sailors, you kind of join a team. It gets there's teams that are competitive, and then teams within the yacht club that are advanced. And you basically, you have to work with your coaches and resume based to get selected for the advance or just the local travel teams. But that's kind of how it works at AYC, and it's kind of ebbed and flowed over the years, but it's always remained pretty strong with us because there's always a demand. And then if your yacht club at a certain point, might not reach that intensity of a parent that might want their child to be at the Olympic level, then that's when it's better to go, sometimes join a private team where you can get more one-on-one instruction. But usually at yacht clubs, there's always enough additional coaches that the ratio is kind of a nice, cozy, fun atmosphere. So it's usually a nice transition before you get to that super advanced private team level.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I feel like I grew up sailing at a yacht club, so I feel like when you grow up sailing at a yacht club, you kind of feel part of the community, part of the yacht club, and you start at age 5 or 6, and then you see kids and other sailors that are older than you, even adults, on the same environment sailing. You get the opportunity to sail with adults sometimes on different boats and experience different boats and different types of sailing, and you get exposed to different realities around the community of sailing. And I feel like when you grow up sailing for a yacht club and at a yacht club, you develop yourself as part of the community and representing a burgee behind you instead of just representing yourself. And I think it adds a lot of value to the person itself.
Awesome. So, yacht club teams kind of being a little bit more local. How do you choose, how does your club choose which events that your Club 420 team travels to?
Yes, that's a very good question, Lexi. There's so much to choose from. There's so many events on the calendar, both at the C420 class advanced level and then also on a local level. How we do it at Annapolis Yacht Club is it's based on what the membership or the non-members, the guest sailors, want to do. So we have three different types of 420 sailing teams, and we start out with the local Chessie. Chessie Racing stands for our local Chesapeake Bay region. Those are for sailors that are just getting their toes wet into racing, what a race team is, and how to gain the necessary skills to become a top-notch athlete later on, but that don't have to put as much time and money and effort into and resources into still getting a really good value and developing your skills and becoming a well-rounded sailor. So that's where they just travel locally and maybe go to a couple C420 Triple Crown events in the summer, but don't do the whole travel up and down the Eastern Seaboard, which is what our advanced travel race team will do. And that's the kids that are getting ready to go off to college, want to go to the Triple Crown events, want to go up to Sail Newport or these and spend 10 days of training on the road and never really being on the Chesapeake Bay. So being able to provide both, getting out of the Chesapeake Bay where you have access to more heavy air venues and becoming a well-rounded sailor is good. But we also have the local option for families that might not be able to afford it. And it's more local. I hope that answers the question.
Yep, that answers the question. Thank you. Gabriel, how does your club choose which events to go to?
So I think here in the program is very similar to other programs in California, at least SoCal. It's a little based on what the members and the sailors want to do. But we have the local series, which is the Perry series, which every single kid from the program and the team, they join those regattas because they're localized. Sometimes we do go up to San Francisco, and then usually as the sailors develop a little bit and they want to commit more to the class and to sailing, we start going to the East Coast to the main events. So all the Triple Crown events and this on the C420, and then some of the teams also focus on the I420. So they choose to attend I420 events and maybe attend Europeans or worlds in other countries. So we also open for that opportunity if the sailor wants to. But basically, we attend all the local events, and the teams that want to commit more and are thinking more of college, more of qualifying to bigger events in the future, they start going to the main C420 events like Nationals, North Americans, and etc. And of course, if like, for example, if a team wants to go to New England or to other events on the East Coast, where like we don't have enough teams going from Cal Yacht Club, for example, we can either team up with other local yacht clubs where we work together a lot on combined practices and little clinics among the yacht clubs. And if they want to attend those events, we can either team up with other local yacht clubs, or they can join private teams like One United and go to those other events on the East Coast where we as a club cannot support them with little numbers, right?
Understandable. So especially for some of these, like, if we're speaking on a more like local level, because I think that's sort of what we're aiming to talk about here. Does your club coordinate transportation for sailors' boats and coach boats, or on a local level, is that more the parents' responsibility?
So here, me as a coach, same with the Opti team, we always tow one trailer. So we have a club truck. So usually we tow the biggest trailer. For example, for Optis, we have a 20 boat trailer where it's super heavy, and we're not going to expect parents to be towing that. Or for the 420s, we have a 4 boat trailer. So usually I tow that one, and then the parents are responsible to tow either the coach boat or 2 boat trailers or single boat trailers, depending on how big the team is when attending those regattas. But it's always the coach towing one trailer and then parents are responsible for towing the other trailers.
We're a little we're tricky. We are a white glove platinum club of America in the world, so our standard and what our members expect is a little bit different than what most other yacht clubs probably would do. We provide all transportation via a huge truck and trailer system. For our local team, where we don't have the huge truck and trailer system, we usually rent trucks and we provide all the trailers. So we have trailers to get everybody. A lot of our customer base is working families and working families that might not be able to tow or no, like might have electric vehicle that can't tow far. So over the years, we've invested, our club has invested, and the membership has invested in getting extra additional trailers. But we do rely both on most of it. The coaches drive a lot of the major heavy duty trailers, just like Gabriel was saying. But then we rely heavily in the summer months on parent volunteerism. Okay, parent volunteerism creates that family yacht club vibe. You're representing your burgee. The yacht club provides the trailer system. You might have to trailer 420s on one little trailer. All their equipment's on it, and the parents usually like that. It's they take turns. They share the expenses. It lowers the expenses for all families, and it's makes it kind of that fun sleep away, like traveling, go to the regattas, get to different hotels, figure out how to park the team trailer in a hotel parking lot, which can be complicated for first-time family boaters. So it's evolved over the years, but the yacht club tries to provide, at least Annapolis Yacht Club, all the resources for the parents to be successful if they're going to do volunteer towing.
And then, we talked a little bit about how this is like very club focused. Are non-club members allowed to join your teams, or are they required to be members in order to join those club teams?
Originally, everyone has to be a member of our club to be protected by our insurance program and to just, justify the club and the resources that are being used. However, what does that mean? So if you're not a member of Annapolis Yacht Club, that is okay. You have to fill out a application. It's just a program fee, and it allows you to participate. It's a 1 year. It's like annual dues. It's $150, and you have to join as a youth sailing guest member. It's really a guest sailor. It's a non-member of the club. Anyone from the public is allowed to join, whether it's our summer program, whether it's our winter program operating in Florida, or whether it's a clinic, a regatta, on-spot coaching. It doesn't matter, but we're open to the public, but we are a members club first, and then we backfill our teams to be well-rounded from sailors from all over the country that need a summer home or winter home, and they do not have to be a member of a yacht club. And a lot of our membership actually comes from our non-members because they come to the junior sailing program, they have fun on these race teams, and they end up joining it. So the yacht club sees the value in supporting the non-member aspect, and that's something I'm really proud of our club for doing that.
Awesome. Gabriel, how does Cal Yacht Club handle that?
So I think it's very similar to what Bobby was saying. We do support our members, of course, the family members that have been members for several years here at the club. We also opened the option for junior memberships. So for those kids who are from different yacht clubs that want to join our team, which I would say is a half split right now among our sailors. But we do offer junior memberships, and they have, when it comes to sailing and junior sailing, they have the same rights as a full member. But when it comes to social aspects of the membership, it's a little different. And for some events and some practices over the weekends, we do open for non-members. So as drop-ins, of course, a different fee, different form for insurance purposes, but we do open for non-members as well. And then sometimes those non-members that come as a drop-in, they decide to stay, and then they become junior members. And then some of those junior members become full members later. So I think it's a very good, just like Bobby was saying, I think it's a very good way of opening the yacht club and the junior program to sailors that are not originally from the program and from the yacht club, and have them join in the future, and also have the opportunity to sail and practice with our teams, right?
Awesome. And then let's talk a little bit about practice. Where do you guys practice, and are there like regular practices, or is it mostly centered around events?
Practices in the summer, which is the 90% of our, 506 kids that we have that go through the program. We try to practice a lot here at home, Monday through Friday, almost 8 hours a day, for the kids at least. Coaches have to work a little longer. She always grumble about, but it's fun for the kids. Like the summertime, they're out of school, their minds are sponges, so we try to do most of the practicing here on site. When you get to more of the advanced yacht club race team, travel teams, they practice wherever the championship or event will be, maybe 1 or 2 days ahead of time. So for our winter programming, that's about ready to happen right now, we have, JOs in Jen's Beach, approximately like 8420s are going to be there. And we got a Thursday, Friday practice of just on-site rigging, getting used to Florida sailing conditions for someone that might never experience that. So that those on-site practices are good. That also happens in the summer for advanced teams that travel up to New England and do the whole New England circuit on the C420 class schedule. We'll try to arrive to a venue a couple days ahead of time to practice so they get used to comfortable to the conditions in the sea state. So it all depends on the yacht clubs and the venues that allow that. Sometimes we have to pay as an institution to come early. We don't always like that. We like to try to go to venues that are free and keep costs down for families, but sometimes our families want to practice and do clinics and travel in different areas. So that's kind of how our system currently works.
Yeah, I think for us, it's very similar in a lot of ways. So we have year-round sailing here at the club. So every weekend, if it's not a high school regatta or a 420 regatta, we have 420 practice. And same with the opties. So all the race teams here at the club, if it's not a regatta, we're practicing here on weekends, every Saturday, Sunday, sometimes Friday. We also offer high school sailing, so that's Wednesday and Thursday. So for the whole year, we have practice, just regular practice. When it comes to events, if it's a local event, for example, the Paris series here in California, we usually practice Friday at the venue. So in a couple of weeks, we're going down to San Diego. On Friday, we're going to be practicing out of Coronado Yacht Club, and then Saturday, Sunday racing over there. So for all the local regattas, we have Friday practice before the Saturday, Sunday event. And then when it comes to summer events, the bigger events and midwinters in Florida, for example, we open, because it's a travel regatta, we open for the sailors and the parents and the families to decide if they want to practice 1 or 2 days prior. We always, as an institution, as the club, we always push for 2 days. But sometimes it's a little tricky with school and like adding costs. So sometimes it's only 1 day before the event. So that's pretty much it. Practicing whole year, and then before events, 1 or 2 days before the regatta, we practice.
Great. And then you kind of addressed this, and I think it's going to be different between a California team and like an East Coast team where weather is a consideration. But what about during the school year? How do you handle Club 420 practices, with the kids in school and everything?
So for us, it's just Saturday, Sunday. Of course, during the winter, it gets a little colder. The kids need to gear up a little bit. But we have regular 10 to 5 practice every Saturday, Sunday. And then sometimes the kids are going to come on Fridays after school as well, Wednesday, Thursdays after school, Monday, Tuesdays after school if they feel like they need. Sometimes we open as well the opportunity for the kids and the parents and families to organize themselves to create an extra day, a couple of days a week for a little period, for a month or so, if kids are available, if the parents want to. So we always keep in touch with the families and the sailors, of course, to understand what they want and what they need. And we always try to work something out that works the best for the coaches and the sailors. And then, of course, for the summertime, because the kids are off school, it changes Monday through Friday. But during school year, it's every Saturday, Sunday, and sometimes during the week.
All right, Bobby, how does AYC handle that?
It's impressive to hear about the West Coast and the East Coast, Alexi, because they're sometimes very similar, but also some challenges of different things. Our biggest challenge during the school year is high school sailing. Now, I'm very proud of high school sailing over the years. In the state of Maryland, it used to be very small, and now it's blown up to, I think it's more than like 37 schools. So it's gotten very big. The seasons keep getting longer and longer. And Annapolis Yacht Club, how we are currently structured, however, we are trying to restructure our infrastructure. Now that our 420 team is, the C420 program just in general is thriving and growing, we have noticed that since our teams are so full, now there's apparent demand to have Saturday and Sunday, like Gabriel was saying, training, practice, just like our Opti program does all year round. However, a lot of the parents and some of the demands and some of our survey feedback is like, well, my son sails on a very competitive high school sailing team, which sails every Saturday, Sunday from early September all the way through end of November. So that's why currently right now our 420 advanced race teams only really practice in the summer and then in Florida in the winter. And those are our major training and regattas and travel. However, there is new demand to have an all year round race option for these local teams to continue practicing, whether it's clinics or a couple practices on the weekends. So we've not really set up for that because of the amount of high school regattas between here and New England. For us, the high schools, it's good balance to do both, and it's good to do resume. I think the C420 class does more because it teaches them spinnakers and more, skipper and crew, and it's a little more challenging and technical. High school sailing is great. I love it. It's helping you for college sailing, but I think both are good to have a balance of, and that's what we're trying to research and study of how to tweak. But we're currently only structured to do a majority of our C420 is winter, like December 1st all the way to April 1st, and then summer, June 1st to August 15th ish. So those are our major C420 training dates for a yacht club.
The difference, I think the main difference between East Coast and West Coast, looking at other clubs and other programs here in California, is that high school sailing is always practiced during the week, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, sometimes 4 days a week. And then all the 420 sailors, which usually are the same sailors, are sailing Saturday, Sunday on 420s. So some of these kids, they get 4 or 5 days on the water every single week. Of course, different boats, FJs and 420s, but they're on the water 5 days a week. Laser sailors, for example, ILCA sailors, they sail high school. Some of them sail high school 3 days a week, and then Saturday, Sunday, they switch to ILCA so they can practice on their own boat. But I think the setup between West Coast and East Coast are very different, at least between California. As you go north, it changes a little bit because it gets colder. So Seattle, for example, doesn't have sailing right now. But I think that's the main difference between the two coasts.
Awesome. Well, that is all the questions we have for you guys today. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And I think it'll be great for parents to hear a little bit more about what a club team can offer them. So thank you guys.